You're getting ready to get married, or at least you sense something big is coming. The signs are multiplying, discussions are starting. Maybe your heart is beating faster just thinking about it. But wait, what if I told you there's something you're doing right now that could sabotage what you're so desperately hoping for? What if this video was a warning? Not from me, but from Allah. You think you're ready? You think you know what you want, but sometimes the person isn't the problem. The relationship isn't the problem. Maybe you are the problem. And that's what Allah wants you to realize before it's too late. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal to you what many do before marriage, believing it's normal, believing it's harmless, but which, in truth, is preparing their silent downfall. If you believe in true love, if you want a lasting union, if you truly desire Allah's blessings in your marriage, then stay until the end. Because what you don't know today could very well ruin everything you build tomorrow. Marriage is an amana. It's not a playground. You feel the call. That strange but familiar sensation, like an inner voice telling you something great is coming. You see signs, you hear conversations, you even feel new emotions, maybe even hope. And you think, maybe this is the moment. Maybe this marriage, this union, this promise is about to come true. But before you go any further, stop. Not to doubt, not to back down, but to reflect deeply. Because what you are about to do is not a simple human commitment. It is not a celebration. It is not a social formality. It is not even just another life project. What you are about to do is to carry an amana, a responsibility, a burden, a trust you hold only as a servant of Allah. This heart you will soon hold in your hands is not a conquest. It is not a crush you will win like a trophy. It is a soul that Allah has entrusted to you, a part of His creation that you will have to nurture, protect, reassure, and guide. And if you betray it, it is not simply the other person you are hurting. It is the bond between you and Allah that you are weakening. Don't make marriage a playground for your ego. Don't use it as a way to escape your loneliness, nor as a decoration to satisfy the expectations of others. Too many people get married because they want to prove something to themselves, or because they think it will solve all their shortcomings. But marriage doesn't come to fill a void. It comes to test your ability to fill it with sincerity. And Allah sees you. He sees what you're hiding. He sees if you use the name of marriage to approach someone without a framework, without modesty, without discipline. He sees if you talk about commitment during the day, but at night you flirt through text messages, play with emotions, make promises without spiritual protection. And believe me, it comes at a price. How many homes have collapsed before they were even built, because the foundation was rotten from the inside? The couple seemed ready. Both hearts were beating, but the intention was not right. One of the two, or both, thought they were living something pure, but without placing it under the light of Allah. We often forget. Marriage begins with intention, not with the white dress, not with the rings, nor with the congratulations. It begins the day you say to your heart, I am ready to be responsible for another life, for Allah, with sincerity. And that day, the weight falls off your shoulders. Not a weight that crushes you, a weight that lifts you. The one that transforms a simple human being into a companion, a protector, a pillar for the other. The one that makes you think twice before sending a useless message, making a late call, lying by omission, or feeding ambiguity. Because now, it's no longer a game. You no longer have the luxury of testing hearts like you try on shoes. You no longer have the right to play with feelings, simply because you need to fill your emptiness. It's not cute to be indecisive. It's not harmless to send mixed signals. It's not innocent to want the benefits of marriage, tenderness, affection, presence, without assuming the spiritual conditions. Allah has warned you, commitments will be questioned, not just after signing the contract, not just after the dowry, but now in the thoughts you entertain, in the messages you write, in the intention that dwells in your heart. Do you want a blessed marriage? Then start by respecting the sacred dimension of this amana. Ask yourself the real questions. Am I sincerely ready to love for Allah and not just for my own comfort? Am I capable of transparency, or am I manipulating? Am I protecting the other from my own flaws, or am I exploiting their sweetness to feed my desires? It is these answers, and not the setting of the ceremony, that will determine the success of your marriage. Marriage is not a stage. It is not a showcase. It is a responsibility you bear before the one who created you. And the one who created you expects you to take this amana seriously. 2. Your heart is growing attached, but is it Allah who gave the green light? You didn't seek it. Or maybe you did, a little. But one day, without realizing it, your heart started beating faster when you heard his name. You smile for no reason when you see his message. You feel a gentle warmth, as if a light had been turned on somewhere between your ribs and your soul. And then, a new thought begins to form. Is it him? Is it her? But let me take you elsewhere, just for a moment. Place your hand on your heart, close your eyes, breathe, and ask yourself, with an honesty no one can hear except Allah. Was this connection placed in your heart by Allah? Or was it your nafs that disguised an attraction as so-called destiny? Because that's where many fall. The heart is tender, it's vulnerable. And when it begins to feel, it immediately seeks to justify these feelings as sacred, blessed, divine. But love, without spiritual discipline, can quickly become a mirage. You may pray. You've even recited du'as. Maybe you've made istikhara. But then, you desperately seek an answer in the other person's gestures instead of seeking it in the silence of Allah. You believe that the fact that the other person speaks to you gently is a sign. You believe that the fact that they are thinking of you is confirmation. You believe that this dream you had is a revelation. But sometimes, it's not the divine light that guides your heart. It's the reflection of your own desire in a mirror that you refuse to break. And this desire, as sweet as it seems, can blind you. It can make you see green lights where Allah has put a wall. How many times has Allah broken a bond, and we cry, we scream, we blame fate, when in truth, it was mercy in disguise? You don't know what that person is hiding. You don't know what that relationship would have awakened in you. You don't know if that love would have blossomed or if, on the contrary, it would have slowly decomposed you from the inside out. Allah sees the layers you ignore. And sometimes, He pulls a person out of you before you become too deeply rooted, because He loves you too much to see you fall. But we, in our impatience, cling. We insist. We say, but Ya Rab, I want it. I want her. I feel she's the right person. Do you feel? But do you feel Allah during this connection, or do you just feel the other person? Be silent. Reflect. Does this person bring you closer to Allah, or do they occupy your place in prayer? Does your connection make you more modest, more spiritually awake? Or do you gently slide into negligence, masking it with the word intention? Pure love never makes you lose Allah. It never distances you from your identity, your modesty, your sincerity. A blessed connection is not just gentle, it is tranquil, it is sakina. That calm that doesn't shout, that relief you feel for no reason, that sense of peace when you pray for the other, and not when you browse their profile. So the next time your heart beats too fast, don't immediately follow it. Observe it, question it, ask it where its beating comes from. Because a fast beating heart isn't always a sign of guidance. Sometimes it's a test. And if you build your future on a test you don't understand, you risk building a home on a shaky foundation. Take the time to purify your intention. Don't be rushed by the pace of the world. The heart that becomes attached too quickly is often the heart that strays first. And Allah will grant you love at the right time, in the right way, when your heart no longer seeks a person, but seeks his satisfaction. 3. Are you still hiding things? Silence will cost you dearly. You say you want to get married. You say you're ready. You say you trust in Allah. But are you being honest with yourself? Before even talking about trust with your partner, let's ask the real question. What are you hiding? Because let's be very clear here, silence can cost you dearly, very dearly. And no, this isn't just a dramatic phrase. It's a reality that thousands of people experience after the ceremony, when buried secrets resurface like corpses we've tried to forget. Do you want a stable, sincere, blessed marriage? Then start with the raw truth, even if it's scary. Do you have a past? Be transparent. Do you have unhealed trauma? Don't wait for it to explode after the I do. Do you have a criminal record, a suffocating debt, an ex who comes back to haunt your thoughts, or behaviors you haven't yet been able to correct? Say it. Because in the shadows, everything you hide is like a lit fuse. And sooner or later, that silence, it will make noise. Do you want peace in your home? Then don't let your future partner discover who you are through pain. It's not just a question of morality. It's a question of haqq, a sacred right held by the other person. In Islamic ethics, you don't have to reveal every intimate detail of your past life. But if an element of your history could impact the other person emotionally, financially, or spiritually, then your silence becomes betrayal. It's no longer forgetfulness. It's manipulation. Do you want her to love you? Do you want him to accept you? So give him the truth, not a set. You're not building a movie. You're building a home. And a home isn't built on a well-written script. It's built on foundations. And every lie, every omission, every gray area, it's a crack. Do you know what Shaitan does when he hears that two believers want to marry for the sake of Allah? He doesn't sit idly by. He waits, he listens, he observes, and his favorite weapon isn't immediate scandal, it's the unspoken. He takes little secrets and transforms them gently into emotional grenades. He waits until love becomes dependence, until trust becomes blind, and then he triggers the explosion. So you think you're protecting the other person by saying nothing? You think you're saving your image, your honor, your story? You're only delaying the chaos, nothing more. Listen, if this person is truly for you, they'll respect you more for your honesty than for your apparent perfection. And if they can't handle your truth, then they're not the one. A blessed marriage isn't one without scars. It's one where both souls know what they're getting into. Not in a heightened version of you, not in a well-filtered profile, but in reality as it is. And if you're too afraid to tell the truth, then you're not ready to carry that amana yet. Because you can't ask Allah to bless a relationship when you deliberately choose to build it on half-truths. It's unfair, and Allah dislikes injustice. So today, take a moment, take a piece of paper, write down what you've never dared to say, read it, breathe it, prepare yourself, and give the other the dignity of choosing consciously. Because it's not marriage that will define you. It's the truth with which you begin it, or the lie with which you destroy it. 4. You give your heart before the nikah, You lose it before the halal style, poetic, melancholic, and sincere. There was night, there were the words. There was this strange feeling that your heart spoke to you louder than reason. You thought it was beautiful, true, sincere. You told yourself that perhaps this was how the most beautiful stories begin. So you opened the door. You let your heart speak. You gave it your attention, your energy, your feelings, sometimes even your sleep. But you forgot one thing. It wasn't yet halal. And until it's halal, it's not protected. What you build in emotion without commitment before Allah remains suspended in a void. A breath is enough to make it collapse. And often that breath comes when you least expect it. You see, your heart is a precious treasure. It wasn't given to you to abandon in the hands of someone who doesn't yet bear your name in the book of Allah. It was given to you to protect it, to purify it, to prepare it, for whoever will come through the door, not the window. But today, you may be here, reading these words, and you're thinking, but we were serious. But he told me he loved me. But she promised she'd wait. But we wanted to do things right, just later. Except that love without a framework turns into pain. And sincerity without structure becomes vulnerable. This is how many lose their way. They slip into relationships that look like engagements, but are only dressed up as one. They experience the emotions of a married couple without the burden of commitment. They share moments, secrets, gestures, plans, but without a contract, without a nikah, without a witness from heaven. And then, when everything collapses, because it often does, they are left alone with an empty heart, a wounded dignity, and a shaken faith. You may think your case is different, that you're serious, that it's just a phase, that the wedding is planned, promised in a few months. But Allah's command is clear: nikah first, mawadda and rahmah after, intimacy, love, the fusion of souls. All of these have their place, but not before divine blessing. And this isn't just a hard and fast rule, it's a protection. For Allah knows that giving your heart before the nikah is like placing a fragile flower in the storm. You cannot demand barakah if you walk outside the path of His light. You cannot hope for stability if you have planted your roots in unconsecrated soil. And you know what is most painful? It is that often, after giving everything, the love, the attention, the hours spent on the phone, the whispered "I love yous" between istighfar, there is nothing left. Nothing, except emptiness. The emptiness of having loved without return. The emptiness of having hoped without foundation. The emptiness of having experienced what seemed beautiful, but was not permitted. And this emptiness cannot be filled with likes, late reminders, or apologies. It is fulfilled by returning to Allah, sincere repentance, and the decision to never again give your heart to that which has not been blessed. So protect your heart. Don't say "I love you" to someone who hasn't yet said "qabiltu" in front of witnesses. Don't plan your life with someone who hasn't yet had the courage to enter through the front door. Don't give your heart before heaven has given you the green light. Because in this early love, there is no barakah. And without barakah, everything becomes heavy. Everything becomes unstable. Everything becomes exhausting. And you deserve better. You deserve a love that begins with the light of Allah, not with secret calls. You deserve a love that is announced, clear, public, and sacred. You deserve a love that doesn't make you doubt yourself or your Creator. So, if you've fallen, get back up. If you've given your heart too soon, take it back gently. And this time, wait until it's halal. Marriage isn't a game. It's an act of faith, an act of responsibility, purity, patience. Allah doesn't just want you to get married. He wants you to succeed in your marriage, for your home to be a garden, not a field of ruins. And for that, He sends you reminders, warnings, signs. Don't ignore them. You heard these truths today not by chance, but because Allah loves you enough to raise you up before you fall. So tell me in the comments, what struck you the most? Share this video with a brother or sister who is about to get married, and above all, take a break. Go into your room, close the door, and make a true dua. Say to Allah, Ya Rabb, correct that in me which would destroy what you want to give me. That's where true marriage begins. Not with a contract, but with an awakened conscience.